Welcome to our next episode of It's Gonna Be Okay. I have a great guest tonight, Forrest Wheeler. He is a comedian and a writer and a good, excellent roast battler that I've seen.
Thank you.
Amazing. But clearly, we all have our challenges in life, and Forrest is going to tell us about what led to his, and why, if that plays into you being a comedian, and how does that translate on stage. What was your diagnosis? Because I know that
Yeah, so I have one thing that was diagnosed, and then one thing that's not diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure is true. I was definitely diagnosed with depression when I was younger. I was like 19, not 19. I was like in my early 20s, 23, 24. And they put me on Zoloft at like 12 milligram. And it was great. I was like instantly felt not better, but like different,
Yeah.
like when for people who haven't like dealt with depression, you're just like kind of numb to everything, and you don't really, it's not like you feel down. You just don't feel anything, which isn't great. And the Zoloft kind of like, not that it made me feel completely better, but it just made me feel different.
Okay.
And that was like such a welcome like feeling where I was just like, oh my God, it's not the same thing all the time.
So it was a relief then.
It was a relief, yeah. And then I told my doctor that it was working, and she was like, okay, well then let's go up to 25 milligrams.
Oh.
Yeah. Huge mistake. I became like the person at the office who's like coming in just like, hey everybody, how you doing? What's going on?
Oh, no.
Like just like too jovial, like too bubbly. And that's not me. It's just not the kind of person that I want to be.
So you became the person you hated?
Yeah, exactly.
You became the reason why you had depression.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's like kind of backtrack it. What led you into even getting treatment for it? Or even what led to that? Was there something in your life that like led to that point where you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm depressed?
I mean, I think I had known for a while that I've been dealing with it. I just never wanted to try medication. Like I'd never really believed. My sister has a lot of like disabilities, and growing up, she was medicated really young. She was medicated starting at like 14. And so I've always kind of hated medication, because even though I'm sure, she needed it, my mindset is just like, that's my sister. She's fine how she is. She doesn't need, all these
Right.
meds. So I never wanted to get it. I never wanted to see a doctor about it until I was just like in a place for like a month where I was not suicidal. This is like a weird thing, but I was suicidal when I was a teenager, and I made kind of like a deal with myself where it's like, you can do anything else you want, but you can't kill yourself. Like you can do anything else, but you got to at least see this
You
thing.
made a life contract?
Yeah, kind of a life
Yeah.
contract. I was like, you can't do that. You can do anything else. And that was when I was like 15. So I never got suicidal, but it was just a constant like numbness to everything. And when you're numb to everything, you don't treat people well, and it just ends up like making things worse.
Right.
And I had health insurance at the time, so I was like, let me friggin' see if I can do something about this. And then tried it. It was good. Got the dosage boosted. It was too much, and I just went off of it. But I felt better afterwards because I knew it could be different. And I like remembered that feeling of it being different. So it was easier to just like deal with it, because I was like, oh, if I can find other things that make me feel different, then that's the way to do it.
Yeah. So about like your suicidal ideation, was that something that you were just casually flirting with, or was it just something that...
No, I mean, I did dumb stuff. I tried to like hang myself from a ceiling fan when I was like 13, which is
Like
crazy.
you meant it? Like you were
I meant
committed to it?
Yeah, but I was an idiot. I did it with like a sweater, It's just like the sweater just like, unraveled. Like it didn't take, I was a dumb, like I meant it, but I just didn't understand, physics or how things work or whatever. So I just like, yeah.
That's a really botched
Oh, it's
suicide
really bad.
attempt with a sweater. That's
From your
that's a
like
new
bedroom
one.
ceiling fan, it's such a bad, so bad.
That's I mean, wow. I mean, you were a kid, right? That was your first time. I mean, at least you might perfect it later on. I don't know.
I know, right?
I'm messing around.
I saw a therapist once who like walked me through each version of suicide and like explained why it would be a horrible experience for like everyone around you. Like she was like, what would you do if you wanted to kill yourself? Like, how would you do it? And I was like, oh, hanging. She's like, okay, just so you know, you're going to shit yourself. You're going to piss in your pants. Someone's going to find that. You're going to have your neck elongated, like all this kind of, like she like described in graphic detail how each thing. And I was like, I'll take pills. And she's like, okay, you'll be vomiting to death, like all this kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, like it was kind of a good method by her, but it was dark. That she was just like, tell me how you're going to do it. And then she was like, here's how horrible that will be.
But I feel like when someone is actually like seriously contemplating that, they don't really care what they're going to go through. You know, they're just like, I want to die. And you know what? It doesn't even matter because I'm going to be dead. I don't know. At least that's things that I've gone through, at least, you know. But yeah. So what was there something that happened in your life where you were just like, or was it like a gradual progression of depression where
definitely a gradual depression. And then like, you know, I was in a relationship for like 4 years and then that ended and I had to move because of the COVID and everybody had like left. Yeah, it was like a lot of different things together at the same time. But yeah, it was not, it's weird because it was so long ago now. Like that was like 6 or 7.
That's long?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, it feels
for you.
Long. That feels long. I mean,
yeah, especially time goes by fast when you're on antidepressants. You don't really notice it. You're just like, everything's like, yeah, everything's great.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine. Yeah, I mean, it was just, I didn't want to be that happy. But something I've been dealing with recently that I think maybe is more, to me, it's more interesting than depression because I've been seeing a new therapist again. And she wants me to test for this. I haven't been tested for it yet, but she thinks I might be a compulsive liar. And she's like interested in like finding, and because I told her I had, you know, problems with honesty and problems with lying to people.
But this isn't part of it. I hope not, right?
No, okay. Now, I mean, I'll try to be as honest as possible, but it is like a real thing where it's like
I'll compulsive liar.
Where I'll just be like talking to people and I'll just like without even thinking about it, really, I'll lie about like a little thing, like even just like, or I'll like twist a story where it's like, say I had a great show and I did 10 minutes and that really happened. I did 10 minutes. I crushed. It was awesome. I go tell my friends like, yeah, I just crushed at this show. And they're like, no way. How long you do? I'll be like 20 minutes. Why, dude? Like the thing you did was awesome.
Yeah.
And yet still you're feeling like you need to put like a little hat on it or like you need to amplify it more. And so she's been talking to me about that and about like where that comes from.
Isn't that, I think I might figure it out. Isn't it just from being a comedian? Like we constantly want to flex. Yeah. We're like, yeah, I did 20 minutes, bro. Yeah, but then everyone's like, nah, dude, that was 10.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what it's from. I think, yeah, for me, it's definitely from a place of like wanting to protect myself.
Your ego?
My ego, protect myself and like project an image that's like better than it is, but that's what's weird, right? Is like you just, at least what my therapist has been talking about is like you just need to like love yourself and love where you're at and, you know, be proud of the things you're actually doing, because when you're lying about even like the set length, the reason you're lying is because you're not happy with that 10 minutes when you should be, because you did 10 minutes and you crushed, but like you're not happy with it. So then when friends ask you, you think you need to pump it up and like make it bigger than it is.
I feel like we're dissecting it right now. So if your therapist wants to know the answer, she could watch this.
I feel like she knows the answer. She's just stringing me along.
She wants you to do it. It's coming from a place of insecurity then, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is,
it's insecure. I know, right? We're so fragile as human beings. We don't realize these things. You know? Yeah.
And you end up, I mean, for me, it's like I end up treating people poorly. Like I end up lying, especially in relationships. Like this is a bad statement, but it's 100% true. I don't know if I've ever been in a relationship where I've been completely honest the whole time.
Uh-oh.
Don't think so. Completely honest about everything, about every little thing the whole time.
Like what are little things that you want to work on in being honest in?
Telling people when I like don't think something's okay, like a lot. Of,
you mean like establishing boundaries?
But just general, you know what I mean? Just even general, like, hey, can we? I don't want to. We need to talk, but can we do it in a week? And me being like, I don't want to talk in a week. I want to talk now, or like, just like letting myself, because then I'll have these situations where I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Let's talk in a week. And then the whole week I'm like freaking out about this call and like can't bring my head to like actually think about what's going on in my life. And it's like just being honest about that, being honest when, you see things that you're not okay with, and being able to like put your foot down and be like, you know what, I'm actually not okay with that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that just comes like in general with a lot of things, and just it's almost like when you're in a relationship, though, you're afraid to tell your partner, hey, I don't like this, because we're afraid of abandonment. You know what I mean? We're like, I don't want my partner to leave me because something, you know, they don't like the way, you know, I carry change in my pocket or something weird,
Definitely.
You know?
But yeah, but honesty always, and this is, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to learn this lesson, but like honesty is always a better move, because you can think like, okay, I don't want to be honest now. I'll be honest later when it's like a better time. It will never be a better time. And if you wait, it's just going to get worse. And in my experience, if you wait, the person's just going to find out some other way. Yeah. And then you're going to look real awkward trying to scramble and be like, okay, well, since you're already mad, here's... okay, since you're already mad at me, here's all this stuff that I've been holding on to for a long time. It looks...
is that where the compulsive lying comes from?
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, you're trying to lie about your anxiety. You're like, well, I had all this pent up. I meant to tell you.
Yes.
But then you covered it up with another lie. Just so it's almost like little bumps in the road, but it kept getting worse as it kept going along. Yeah. Oh, God.
And then once it's wrecked, they're like, it's like if you have like a bunch of problems with your car and then you wreck the car and you're like, okay, so by the way, this was going on, like the engine was doing this.
Everything just kind of went downhill from there, you know?
Yeah, but that's not fair to like your partner, you know, because they had to find out some other way. And in the meantime, they had no idea what you were actually thinking.
Yeah, you know what? Someone told me this really weird statement where they said, and I'm not saying that everyone, but he was like, he said it as a sweeping generalization of what men do in relationships. And he says men act and then ask questions later. And I was like, I don't know, maybe that's just you, dude. Like, you know, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's just in relationships for me is the issue. It's definitely like, even in friendships, even in casual conversations, I'll just lie. I don't know why. It's like it's like fun. I think when I was, this is bad. This is like how you know someone's like messed up in the head, is that like, it literally is like fun. Like I remember when I was like 5 or 6, I was already lying about random little things to my parents.
Is it like the thrill of getting caught where you do
It's the thrill of getting away. It's the thrill of getting away with it. And which is interesting for comedy, right? Because like a comedy, that's like an Anthony Jeselnik quote that's like going viral right now, is like comedy or art is getting away with it. Like you comment on Israel-Palestine, you comment on abortion, you comment on these sensitive topics, and people laugh, and you get away with talking about it maybe in like a not so nice way. Right. And I think lying is the same thing, where it's like, I got away with it. Like, you know, for a moment you're like, yes, like I'm on, nobody can touch me. Nobody knows the truth.
I know what you're saying, but like in comedy, we at least hope to be telling the truth, right?
Yes. some of the truth with like a, you know what I mean? Like with like a fancy hat of
with
like a lie.
With the strange misdirection, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in life, if we lie about it and we just get away with it, we're just con artists.
Yeah. Which I've been terrible at. Imagine a con artist with no money. That's such a funny, very funny, like he's good at it, but he doesn't make any money.
I feel like there are some con artists out there that make no money, or they make money and then they spend it all because they know there is an abundance of people out there that they can trick, you know? Yeah. But
try not to trick people, you know?
So other than, I mean, you're working on your coping mechanisms, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
What are things that you have incorporated after your diagnosis besides the medication?
Meditation's been really great. I had a girl introduce me to meditation that was like really nice, and like has been little pieces of that like help me take breaks throughout the day. I would say working out is always good. Stand up is really good. Like, especially if you have like anxiety. I think a lot of comics have anxiety or depression, but something about being on stage and like doing stand up, the anxiety goes away. Cause you're nervous maybe before you get up there.
But once you hit that stage, it just,
it's gone. You're just kind of like, oh, all right.
You're like, I know how to do this.
Yeah, it's almost like it's weird when you feel like all eyes are on you, but they're not. But then when all eyes are actually on you, you're like, okay, great. This is how I felt all day. So, you know.
Yeah, the anticipation of it building and then coming back down.
Yeah.
What are things that haven't worked for you?
Oh, things that I've tried that haven't worked. Drugs and alcohol. I've been 1 month and what day is it?
Today's the 14th.
The 14th. Okay, so like 6 weeks sober. That's pretty cool. 6 weeks sober. Yeah, I definitely tried drinking and smoking weed. And I mean, still I chew nicotine gum right now. And it's like, which is, I'm still counting as sober, but it's, yeah. And those things have not helped me cover things up. And I also don't like people will be like, you know, go get grounded, like go like touch the ground or like touch grass. It's such a weird, like, no, you're just a weirdo doing that. You're not.
They make it seem like we're, what is it? Like, you ever welded before?
Yeah.
And then you have to ground the welding. I don't know. It was an arc. I don't know what that. I know that you have to plug it into something and then you plug it in so that you don't like.
Or like electric. Yeah. Like where electric forces. It's like, dude, this does not help.
Yeah. No. I mean, I've met people who have thought that, you know, you can will your way out of out of a mental illness or depression, and it's questionable. You know, I think like to some extent the willing is on you, 100% on your part, where you want to will your way out of it. And it requires you to do the work to search for ways to do it. You know, like you got to go get therapy, seek help. How do you, you know, manage those types of things?
Yeah. And also like, do you have the will? Like, do you have the will to
stay committed to it?
Stay committed to it. Like,
stay the course. Because I know there are people that, and I've been one of them where you're doing it and then in the process you're just like you give up because you're like, oh, this all seems too difficult, and then it just seems like a big pile of shit.
Yeah, or even go the other way where it's like you're doing the work and you're doing a great job for like 3 weeks and everything's going well, and so you're like, I've been doing so well, time for a treat. You know, let's get drunk.
And then you fuck it up on your own.
Yeah, because that's my consistent thing is like, get to the point of like, okay, I need to make a big change. Make the big change for like a month to 2 months, and then be like, all right, we're fixed. Back to the same old actions. So
I know that thinking where it's you're never gonna be fixed though, you know, because you have to realize like it's not a sprint, you know, it's a marathon. You gotta just keep going with it, you know. So where were you originally from? Are you from LA or
from Orange County, Los Alamitos / Long Beach border? But yeah,
I remember you mentioning that you were just like a basic white kid, and then I was like, okay, so let's see where you're going with this. Did you have like any anger issues or anything that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I would always fight with people in school, and like, yeah, I definitely have always had anger issues. And it's people like know that. But there was like a time when I was out, because comedians are so like non-confrontational, or at least a lot of the ones that I hang out with are so non-confrontational. And there was like a mic that I went to where a guy had his chair up and the legs were poking back into like the lane behind. And like 4 people tried to sneak by and like 3 of them hit him. And so I was like, I'm going to be really careful not to hit him. And then like I accidentally hit him, and he like turned around and was like, bro, what are you doing hitting my chair? And I was like, dude, if everyone hits your chair, you're in the wrong.
Right.
It's not everybody's bad at walking. It's you need to get your chair out of the way. And like I kind of went off on him, and then all my comedian friends were like, dude, you need to calm down. And I was like, I still think I'm justified in that. Like,
yeah, isn't it weird when you try to stand up for yourself and then people try to make it seem like you're the asshole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen a lot. And I don't normally, look at my hair is all messed up. I don't normally have anger issues. It's only when people tell me that I do that I'm like, oh, you want to see what angry is? And then I start huffing and puffing. And then I realize you're on a blood thinner. You will not survive. You know, you're going to get beat up and it's game over. One hit and I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that. I'm kind of like that too. I mean, are you the type of person who, because I think there's definitely true where it's like, if someone tells you what a bad job you're doing, are you the type to be like, I'm going to show, like, you think I'm doing a bad job? No, I'm going to show you how great I can be. Or are you the type to be like, oh, you think this is a bad job? Let me show you what a bad job is.
I feel, okay, now this is probably a weird way to, I take that anger that I'm like, this motherfucker, you know? And then I actually do whatever it is that I wanted. Everything they told me that wasn't right, I prove that it was right to begin with. Yeah, I'm that one. I'm the vindictive kind.
That's better than mine. I'm literally like, people are like, you know, you're so mean. I'm like, oh, I'm mean? You're about to see mean.
Yeah.
Like I just go deeper into it.
You lean into it. Yeah. No, I'm just good. Like, yeah, watch me prove that this is the right way, you know? Like,
wow.
Yeah.
I admire that. I would rather be that way.
The demon will come out at some day, you know? It's like the dark spirits just, no, I'm not. That's another thing that I've always like thought was interesting. Do you take that on your roast battles, or is that like a little different?
The anger, 100%.
Yeah.
And the weird thing, this is super weird for me in comedy, but like my best sets have been when I'm pissed off.
Hell yeah.
About something else. If it's something else in life is going on. Like there was one set I did where I had broken up with a girl and she came to the show like 2 days later and she like sat there. Probably one of the best sets of my life because I was just... Probably one of the best sets of my life. I was so angry and I was so just like, I'm going to fucking get done with this set. And then I'm just going to walk out the door. And I was just slaughtered. And then like just walked out. And it's like, obviously, but it's funny, right? Because if that's going to be your mentality, it's going to be tough for you to enjoy those good sets. If you're going to need to be in a place of anger in order to have those great sets, you're not going to enjoy them.
Unless you record it afterwards and then you can rewatch it, you know, you're like,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Did you at least record it though?
Nope, I did not record it.
Oh, shit.
I was like one track mind. I was like, I'm pissed off. Just get in there, tell your jokes and get out. And that's exactly what I did.
That's so funny. I do the same thing too. You know how I recreate that anger in my head? If I'm not going through something fucked up, I usually work out. And when I see that I'm failing in my workouts, that pushes me. It's like it pushes me over the edge. And then I take that, I'm like, oh, you didn't do well today, you know, and then,
Yeah, I mean, I think I need to find something like that. I need to find some way to get to that same mental space that I'm in when I'm angry or frustrated and use it every single time.
Have you ever cried before you got on stage?
Oh my God, no. I've cried like twice in the past 10 years. I do not cry.
Really?
It's weird. I don't know why. I like can't cry. I don't know what's going on.
Is it the compulsive lying?
Maybe the compulsive lying. Also, and this has made so many people angry, when they're like sad, this is so bad. But when somebody's like sad or like freaking out emotionally, I will laugh.
No,
I absolutely will laugh. I can't help it. I'm like, I don't know if it's like awkward or I'm uncomfortable or whatever. I'll just like, like a little bit. And they're like, did you just laugh at me? And I'm like, no.
That is funny though. Cause I do the same shit.
Yeah.
But I laugh on the inside. I'll look at somebody and I'll be like, I can't help you, you know? Cause part of me is saying I could barely help myself.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, why did you come to me? I'm the worst person for this.
Or I'm even laughing at my own brain, just being like, wow, that's rough. You know, like my own brain is just kind of like,
you're like, I can't handle it. No. You build up those walls and it's just strange though. Yeah, no. Okay. So like based off of, you know, all that, what do you have like planned for, you know, your future? And I mean, have you like relapsed in any way or?
No, I mean, I've been pretty good about it. I've been pretty good about the sobriety. I've vaped in time, like at parties and stuff when everybody else is messed up, because I'm like, I just got to do something, you know what I mean? Like, but I've been pretty good about the sobriety, but it hasn't really helped. It hasn't really changed a lot. So for me, it's just kind of like learning to meditate more, force myself to like meditate and exercise more, force myself to like let go of stuff and like not, I spiral a lot. Like I like get attached to like a thought and just spiral down.
Oh, so you ruminate?
Yeah, ruminate on like one thing for like a long time. And so I'm just trying to figure out how to stop that. And like, I'm going to keep going with the therapy. This therapist that I'm seeing is awesome. She feels like she knows all the answers. meditation, keep going, keep doing things that like bring me peace, because like the most anxiety I've had and depression and everything has been when I know I've lied and I'm holding in the lie still.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah. It
well,
like
okay,
eats at
see,
me.
so for me, I think you saying that kind of says that there's like hope, because you recognize that it's a lie.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like a compulsive liar will not
Recognize
that it's a lie. They'd be like, nah, it's, at some point it's like they're convincing themselves.
Yeah, and I think I've done that before too, where I've like convinced myself like I'm doing the right thing by not telling this person the thing that would make them mad.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're protecting yourself. Like you can say that all you want in your head of like I'm doing this for them, or it's not right to bring this up for them right now. But the reality is you're protecting yourself.
It's like avoidance.
Yeah, well, you're just like, you're afraid of the consequences. You're afraid they're going to get mad at you. You're afraid they're not going to want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, they're not going to like you.
The consequences are what you're afraid of, and you're just framing it in a way to make yourself the good guy, because of course we all want to be the good guy.
Yeah, our brain has a hell of a PR team up there.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes you just have to admit, I've been the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that also requires reframing too, because we're not inherently good or bad. It's more like what we do that kind of brings out that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like we don't choose like, yeah, I'm going to wake up and fuck somebody's day up. I don't know. There might be some people out there that think like that. But I mean, granted that you just said that you like to laugh when somebody... Isn't there a German word for that though?
Schadenfreude.
Yes, see, the fact that you know it.
I know it's a problem.
No. We all go through this though,
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, I was gonna mention something earlier about something about you fighting. What was it?
Just getting in fights. I've fought with all of my best friends. I think it's important.
Yeah.
I have fist fought all of my best friends. I think it's.
Do you just come out swinging? You're just like, oh.
We fought about. I mean, me and my buddy Hunter. Shout out Hunter. We fought over politics. Where we were literally watching football, and then afterwards there was like a presidential debate or something going on. Mm-hmm. We started arguing about politics in his home with his pregnant wife there.
Dang.
And
the baby got in the fight too?
No. Yeah. Shout out Tegan, the little baby girl.
Dude, that's the name of a Volkswagen, isn't it? Oh no, wait, that's a Tiguan.
But yeah, and then like we got in such a heated argument that he was just like, "You want to go outside?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro, let's go outside." And we literally fist fought in his backyard. And like, I got I don't know what I got, a bruised black eye or whatever. He got cut on his head and stuff, and like, and his wife came out screaming like, "Stop, whatever." But afterwards, we just like, it's not like I left. We like sat down, had a beer, and just like
you
chilled.
like hugged it out.
Well, not even hugged it out. We just like talked. We just like, it was all over. We just like chilled. And ever since then, there's like way more respect between me and him.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Because we both know like it can go to blows. And if it goes to blows, we'll both get hurt.
Yeah. So it's like you testing somebody out. Yeah. I do the same thing too. But very rarely do people want to fight me like that.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, I wouldn't want to fight. I wouldn't want to fight any woman. I'm terrified of her.
Oh no, this was the funny thing that I of your story. Like, how many months was she pregnant? Because I feel like she should have given birth right then and there.
Oh, that would have been great. I think she's only like 6 months pregnant.
Oh man, that would have been early. They would have been like, "How'd you come out? My daddy was fighting."
Yeah, that's true. That's a cool story. She's a UFC fighter.
No, I think that's funny. What was it? Oh, you mentioned your sobriety. Mm-hmm. Have you lost or gained friends from that? Because I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. When people get clean.
Yeah, you lose some people.
Yeah, you either lose them or you gain people. Like, how's that? How have you navigated that so far? I know it's kind of early in it, but like...
I mean, I think I've lost more than I've gained for sure. I mean, people who used to invite me over to smoke don't invite me over anymore. And people who, like, I used to smoke after shows or smoke at the Comedy Store afterwards, and now I just got to, like, get out of there. So I think I don't think I've lost friends necessarily, but I don't see certain people as much as I used to, because what we would do is just smoke together.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't smoke weed anymore, so we don't...
You don't have that bond anymore.
Yeah, we don't have that weed-based bond anymore. And drinking too. Like people I used to drink with is like, we don't drink. I don't drink. So it's like we don't bond together anymore. But I've also made contacts with like sober people, and it's been good to talk to sober people about like what's going on with their sobriety and get invited to AA meetings and all that stuff. It just feels cleaner. And that's another thing for me, is like just trying to build a cleaner circle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's something, I mean, regardless of whether it's a drug or not, but it's more like when you are in the process of trying to help yourself, you have to find people in that same alignment.
Yeah.
With those same kinds of like, I don't know how you would say it.
Maybe not goals, but the same kind of like, hey, we're both trying to stop this right
like
now.
The same kind of moral judgment almost.
Yeah, my
you know
therapist
what
would
I mean?
say values.
Yes, there you go. The same kind of values. Yeah.
Yeah, she's all about lining everything up with your values.
Yes.
Does your job align with your values? Does your relationship align with your values?
Who is this? Your mom or
my therapist?
Oh, yes.
She's
absolutely
all about that. She's all about like make sure everything aligns with your values, and then it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just friends because you used to smoke together. You know, like there's no other bond outside of that.
Yeah, or like maybe that's why you're not happy with your job, is because it doesn't align with what you value in yourself. And
that's very true. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't think about.
It's a difficult thing though. Do you ever, this is like a weird thing I realized the other week, that I was getting anxious just about the idea of like I will always be in my own head. Like your thoughts and like you will always be in your head.
Are you trying to share them, or is it?
No, just like, has that ever made you anxious, or have you ever like thought about that like, you know what I mean? Like you will always be in here.
I've never thought I would always be in my head. I just know it.
Yeah.
Does that make, I don't know if I get anxiety from that alone.
Okay.
Like my thoughts are my own alone. Like, do I get anxiety from that? No, I've never thought that. I've never thought of that. I mean, that is a unique concept.
I get anxiety literally from that. Like,
why? Because you want to share your thoughts, or
no? Because I'm trapped in here with this guy. Like I'm like, you know, it's like this. My head is very at the current time not kind to me, and not honest, and angry. And so it's like, man, am I going to be in here with this guy forever?
No, I don't think so. I mean, right now you probably don't see it, but the fact that you're questioning it, you know what I mean? Like, means that you have certain things that you want to go after. You know, you're like, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to feel this way. This is you talking out loud. This is you, like, I don't know. Has your doctor gone over this with you, or like you make a list of things that you want to accomplish in therapy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Is that like, because I know this is all kind of still, you know,
it's all
relatively new. Yeah.
It's all new.
Yeah. You're like a baby in this, huh?
I am 100%. That's why I like, you know, the idea of this like podcast is like everything's going to be okay. Because I'm definitely in a place where it's like, is it going to be okay? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No. I feel like you're not human if you don't have an existential crisis. You must that's required, you know. I mean, it kind of goes back to like, what is that concept? I don't know. I think it was Rene Descartes that said, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
Is that?
I think, therefore I am screaming. Yeah. It's a crazy.
I think, therefore I am. And then there's an artist that he said, this is not a pipe. So those are two conflicting ideas. Yeah. I don't know. But it's all basically what we're saying is it's all mind over matter, like how we perceive things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That will push us inevitably forward. Sometimes things hold us back.
Yeah. And how you control your reactions to things is tough.
I know I'm not good at controlling my reactions. I am 100% terrible at that kind of thing. When it comes to like anger and stuff like that, that's something that I definitely need to work on, because
I'll tell you what helped me a lot. Boxing. Yeah. Boxing was awesome. Just a heavy bag. You don't even need anything else. Boxing, like heavy bag, gloves, and just go throw until your arms literally cannot lift anymore. Mm-hmm. You won't be angry the rest of the day.
Yeah,
It's impossible to make you angry.
You know what I do instead? I tell my personal trainer to put as many burpees in my regimen as possible
That will
because
also work.
I know he knows he has anger issues. Well, I don't want to say issues, but he knows what anger feels like. I feel like every person does. You know, it's just it's the way we react to it. You know what I mean?
and how we handle it. And for me, the thing that helps or has helped most is getting rid of it. Like and the only way I've never been good at getting rid of it just by like focusing and like breathing.
Oh
and,
no,
like,
no. It has to be like a real like an energy, like you exert something, you know, like running or I don't know.
Go play basketball, go run. For me, I mean, it's like go play basketball, go run, go box, go do something to like get all of this energy out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're going to carry it around. And
I think what it is like our mind saying we're like in fight or flight. So like we build up all that adrenaline, you know what I mean? And then like literally we have to go and run it out, you know, kind of like toddlers.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, oh, just put them on the treadmill. They'll get tired, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a lot of that going on in my head when it comes to those kinds of things. And I don't know. I mean, has you mentioned crying not being an outlet? Ooh. Crying is another outlet for me. If I get so pissed and I can't exert it, I end up like imploding.
That sounds nice.
And then I cry.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Like I'm jealous of that. And like when,
being able to cry?
Yeah, and when my friends like, you know, are very emotional or overwhelmed and they start crying, I literally get like jealous. I'm like, God, that looks nice.
Oh God, it's not.
They're just like letting it out. It sounds awesome.
I mean, it feels good when you cry. It's just like the aftermath. Your face feels sore.
Oh,
and
yeah,
your eyes are like bubbled up.
Yeah,
like.
Last time I like really, really cried was probably like 2 years ago when I was dating this girl for like a year and then she moved to Boston. And like that was the reason we broke up, is like she was just moving to Boston. And
and you missed her?
And I was not moving to Boston. No, it's like the goodbye conversation. We literally like stayed together until she was leaving for the airport the next day. Dang. And then it was like, we got to end it here. And then like I just went back to my car and cried.
You bawled?
Oh, like a good half hour. Like nose running, like the good stuff, you know what I mean?
Like the snot and everything.
Your nose is running, your face hurts, your ears are hot. You're a blubbering, wet, crying mess. And it's like, and it was awful, obviously, at the time and emotional. But when I got done, I was like, oh my God.
How long did that last?
It lasted literally like a good 30 to 45 minutes of like just dumping. And before that, I had not cried in probably 6 or 7 years.
Isn't that from like, doesn't it seem kind of pent up though?
Like, oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, I was wondering about it as I was crying. I was like, is this all about the relationship or is there other stuff?
No. That's funny. You're just like, yeah, it's all coming out. Yeah. No, that's funny. You know what? I think it's interesting too, is when it's a really good cry, you'll get silent and you'll be like, you know, you look like, I don't know, you look like, you know, a kid with like trout face, you know, like you just, like when kids they want their parents, you know, and then they just start crying and they hold it in and you're like, and then all of a sudden they get really quiet and you're like, oh my God, this kid's going to explode. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of cry. Like the ugly cry.
Yeah, no, it was an ugly cry.
Yeah.
It feels amazing.
The ugly cry that they kick you off the public bus for, you know? Yeah. Like they'll keep the guy jerking off in the bus, but they'll kick your ass off of it for that.
He's an entrepreneur, but yeah.
He's an entrepreneur?
He's out there working for himself. But it's tough. I mean, it's also like, and that's why it's tough for me when I see people cry, because I am a little bit like jealous of like, you have access to that? You can just do that at any time?
Yeah, it feels awesome. Nice. Yeah, it's a lot better than health insurance, right?
I know. I gotta go hit something.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Terrible.
You're like, I gotta go prove I'm a threat to humanity in order to get this help. Yeah. Well, this has been a really good, session. And
this is like a perfect comedian's therapist office right here.
Yeah. No, you know what? That might be interesting to have like a kind of Freudian chair. You know what I mean? Like, tell me why your mom beat you, you know?
Yeah. I thought that's what we were doing.
No. It is kind of like a therapy session, but we just kind of like run through, you know.
Yeah,
some of the stuff you've gone through in life almost.
Well,
but
been depressed, been anxious, been a liar. Gonna try and get better about all those things.
yeah, is there anything that, like any self-help books that you're going for yet, or
Wow, self-help books.
you don't think that works?
I mean, I haven't really read self-help books. I've read fiction novels that are very fun. But like, I mean, a self-help book is...
That's on another level. That's like you doing therapy homework, right?
I know my thing, the number one thing that helps me is talking to people.
Yeah.
That I care about, that I trust, like talking through my feelings and emotions. Secondly, working out or like, screaming it out, whatever, just like exuding it is like the secondary thing. And yeah, sitting with it, like just like getting a book and sitting with it, or like just like calmly, meditation's okay, but like just trying to like quiet your mind when it is on fire doesn't really work for me.
Yeah. Have you ever written like where you're just like trying to write it out and like, because I read some of my notes of like when I was suicidal. I'm like, man, these jokes are fire, I'm like, this is some dumb shit. But
I will say my most depressed friends are my funniest friends for sure. But it's there's also like that's kind of like toxic to conflate talent with like a bad mental health. Like
that's true.
Those two things don't have to be linked, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think writing it out can help a lot.
Yeah.
And
have you ever gotten into arguments over your illness or over your
oh yeah,
I don't understand what that is. I had someone argue with me recently where he was talking to me. He was like, no, you shouldn't kill yourself. And then he was like giving me all these hypothetical situations. And I was like, this conversation makes me want to kill myself. I don't know if it's anything. I don't know. Like playing devil's advocate is not the place where you need to be in this situation.
No, I mean, when I had a friend who said, she was suicidal recently. And I took a very selfish approach where I was like, hey, I've already lost a friend recently. You know what I mean? Like a couple of years ago, I lost a friend. I'm not losing another one. Don't do this to me. You know what I mean? I wasn't even like trying to reach her. I wasn't even trying to be like, this is why you're so valuable and this is why you're amazing and you need to live. I'm like, hey, don't do this to me.
Oh, yeah. You were coming from a place of emotion, though.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't want you to leave me.
Yeah. Or I just like, I don't want to go through that like grief again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's helpful, but you know what it is? It's honest. And,
it is. It is. Yeah, and that's all we can ask for,
That's all I can ask for.
And just every time we just got to be honest to ourselves and remember it's going to be okay, right?
Yeah. If you had to punch out all your anger on one of these pillows, which one do you choose?
Oh, I don't do that to them.
But if you had to punch one of them,
no,
just one. You have to punch a single one of them.
No, I don't. I'd punch myself. I would never do that. They're my babies.
Oh, that's amazing.
You have no idea. They don't have names, but
okay.
They're all. This is what I hold when I'm sad and I need, because I don't have a husband. So I hug these guys, and yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, I don't have an emotional support husband. But
that's amazing. So that's such a great answer. All right.
No. So all right. Well, thank you, Forrest. Thank you for sharing your feelings, and tune in to our next episode of It's Gonna Be Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks. Bye.